Squid Game, the final season is finally here. I'm going to give you all my thoughts before we get into that. Man, what a series, man. From the first episode, I've been a day one fan since this premiered. I'm so glad. And, this series has just been a complete phenomenon. It's once in a blue moon type of thing. Like, you're never going to see a show hit like Squid Game did when it first dropped. And now, since Netflix took its time and now we kind of got back-to-back seasons and the series is over, I could see some people being upset or being like, season 2 didn't really feel like a season. But, I personally feel like I'm glad that they kind of split it up. You know what I'm saying? Because now we kind of got finality with this final season and with a lot of characters. A lot of unsuspected things happen. So let's get right into it, man, because this, picks up right where we left off. Jinhan is dealing with the fact that he lost his best friend, and now, like, everybody is kind of pretty much against him at this point, and he is just completely out of it, cuts himself off from everybody. He wants to die at this point. He doesn't want to live. He just constantly is blaming himself while the games have to kind of go on. And these last 3 games are very, very interesting, and I feel like it was worth the wait. And I like the reason why they kind of split these. They made this into season 3, which is I'm pretty cool with. And we finally kind of get more of Noel's story in this. Number 11, she's another one of the officers there. We finally get more of what she's supposed to be doing here. And I'm glad, because I was kind of nervous, because I was like, out of all the different subplots and storylines, I feel like this one could have definitely been scratched out. But now, seeing how it wrapped up, it kind of made sense. We're going to get into that as well. So now we get into like the 4th game, which the 4th game ends up being hide and go seek, or hide and seek. And before they find out what the game was, everybody picked either a blue ball or a red ball. The blue ball, those people got to hide, you know what I'm saying, or find these keys and find these exit within like 30 minutes or so. And the people that are on the red side have to eliminate at least one person from the blue team. And this was really fucking crazy. Seeing how, there's constant beefs and constant shifts in powers amongst characters when characters kind of pass away. Like Thanos was somewhat of a big character. Now that he kind of passed away, you have some of his followers following in his footsteps, like player 124 just kind of fucking with player 125, which 125, bro, he is so useless. He, out of every single character that has come across in the history of Squid Game, out of 3 seasons, he has been the most useless character, and I'm just so surprised at how far he made it in this. And then you have this kind of back and forth with the mom and son dynamic with player 7 and player 149, where they kind of switch positions or switch teams, because he doesn't want his mom having to kill nobody, vice versa. And also player 33, 333, he starts to kind of step up because he wants to make an impression on player 222, which has a huge role to play in this final season. And that's pretty much like kind of setting up the final season with the reintroduction of everything, seeing where player 456 is mentally, and just where everybody else stands and what the next game is. And then we get to episode 2, where we get more of Noel's plan of what she's doing. She's able to trick this one guy into showing where the operations take place and whatnot. And this is where she kind of turns up, kills everybody there in the operation room, whatever the fuck, to save player 246, because her whole thing is she wants to save him so he's able to save his daughter. And it was cool, it was commendable, but at first I didn't know exactly where her story was going, but like I said, as it kept going, I was like, okay, I see where they're going. So now we have some team ups, right? We have some alliances. Obviously, we have 120 linking up with 149 and 222. 222 is also pregnant, so they have to kind of be quick with it and also be careful because, these people are complete savages. And also 333 and 124 team up, and they become like this tag team bunch of like psychopaths. And you're really thinking that 333 is going to take a nice like turn, or he's actually trying to do something to protect 222, but he has his own agenda. And then we have 125 over here just popping perks. Now he found Thanos' his stash and whatnot, really random. So but as 222 and everybody like that team is kind of maneuvering, they go up these flight of stairs, and she steps on the steps wrong and kind of fucks up her ankle and falls down. So now she's kind of like a liability, kind of it slows everybody down. 120 is having to play defense and having to stab certain people and whatnot. 222 actually gives birth now, and it's just like, oh my god, it's one thing after another. And we also see the old chick that she thinks she's a shaman, player 44. She finally meets her demise. You know what I'm saying? She ends up finding the 3 keys. I think, yeah, she was the first one to find out that you need 3 keys to exit these certain doors and whatnot. But her and 100 is also a scumbag. They kind of link up because he has one of the keys that she needs, and obviously turns on her, throws her back into the game, and she ends up getting killed. 120 finds another exit, and she had a moment where she could have just left those two and went on her own, but she had to go back. She ends up getting killed by 333, and now it's just like, oh shit, now we gotta kind of get out of this room and whatnot. And by 333 killing 120, that kind of makes 222 kind of really angry, even though he doesn't know that person's intentions. He wants to protect the child, and also throughout these first 2 episodes, Jin Hun gets word of who kind of betrayed them, the player, and he has his sights locked on to 388, and then that goes into episode 3, where we actually see VIPs kind of killing people now, and players returning from the first game. We continuously see Noel and 246 trying to escape. And while this is all going on the outside, you still have the detective, that's the front runner's younger brother, still trying to look for this island. And you also have Wu out here. He's the first one to kind of suspect something was up with Captain Pak, but because he just say the detective doesn't really believe what this guy is saying. So Wu goes on his own little side mission to kind of prove that there's something wrong with this Pac guy. And now we get to the players voting. And throughout these games, player 456, he kind of is just still in the state of just like, I'm not participating in the voting process or whatever. But the game continues, whatever. Noel confronts one of the managers and tries to um, get him to do whatever the fuck she wants him to do. And they kind of work together. We'll get into that a little bit later. And now we also see that Wu finds connections to Pac, that he has connections to the recruiter, which is interesting. And now he definitely has suspicion now, but ends up getting arrested before he can, go on further. Then we finally find out what the next game is. The next game is jump rope. Jump rope. Oh man, this was crazy. This is like you have like a platform and there's something. There's like a gap in between the platform, whatnot. There's like an opening. So there's this thing that comes around like a jump rope. You have to jump that while you're crossing over. Shit is crazy, but player 456 made that shit look super fucking easy. That's why he's the GOAT. You know what I'm saying? And you had like player 96 trying to push people as they're coming to the other side. That was just a crazy ass, you know what I'm saying, whole entire scene. And 222 realizing like she can't play this game kind of pretty much deletes herself. And this was so sad. That was like one of the saddest deaths in the series. But then the more fucked up thing comes up is now the baby replaces 222 and becomes the new 22. And this causes chaos amongst the other players, because how is this fair? They don't want to have to split their shares up. This messes up the game, but it makes it more interesting. You know what I'm saying? It changes. It lets you know people's true intentions. You know what I'm saying? And you got Wu trying to convince the cops that, there's these crazy people that dress up in pink jumpsuits that are playing these games and whatnot. And it's not quite working for him. But while this is going on, they're having the final dinner before the final game begins. You know what I'm saying? Some interesting kind of rules before they kind of get into exactly what it is. But you already have groups kind of, at this point, we have 9 players. And they're all trying to figure out, how can we get rid of this baby? And how can we get rid of 456 and 125? And that was really crazy. But the crazy thing is seeing the conversations between 456 and the front man, when the front man tries to give him the heads up like, yo, they're going to try to kill you. So here's this knife. If you kill them, this is pretty much seals the deal for you to win this. And we also see a little bit of a flashback where the front man did something similar. But 458, 456, he hesitates, you know what I'm saying, going into the next episode. We have the flashback, and also the front man warns his brother, like, don't come out here, you don't want to do that. Noel is continuously trying to make her escape, but then gets kind of blackmailed to kind of come back, ends up just burning all the different files, like all the files of who worked there, who participated in the games and whatnot. Really sad shit. We also realize that, we get a little bit more of her backstory, and why she's doing what she's doing is because she's also looking for her missing daughter that is presumed to be dead. Her husband passed, so she doesn't want that trauma to pass down to somebody else. So, so we finally get to the final game. The final game is called Sky Squid Game, where it's literally like there's these pillars that they all have to kind of maneuver through each round. You have like 15 minutes and you have to push certain people off. And this was fucking crazy. 125 finally got eliminated. You know what I'm saying? A bunch of people got eliminated. 336 got eliminated by 333, and then we kind of pretty much get down to. Oh wait, player 39 just pretty much gave up, said like I'm done with this, and just fell off the platform. And then it just comes down to the final three, 456 and 333 and 222, the baby. And this was a really crazy like kind of face off between the two, really emotional. And it's just like, bro, this guy really is a scumbag. Like, yo, you're gonna do this to your own kid. And it just shows you how spineless the dude is, you know what I'm saying? And while 256 is able to kind of get away on the boat, crosses paths with the detective and tells him everything, where they need to find the island. The final round starts, you know what I'm saying, between our final three. 333 crashes out. They face off, you know what I'm saying, and they end up having a struggle. And they're all hanging off the platform. 456 seems to be the winner once again, but what they forgot is they didn't press the button. So now it didn't really count. That death didn't really count. So it comes down to 222 and 456. 456 sacrifices himself because he said, I'm gonna keep my word. I'm gonna protect this child. And what a way to kind of end everything, wrap everything up. Everybody evacuates the island as it's about to explode. The front man, you could definitely tell, respected Jinhan in a lot of ways. And we kind of catch up with everybody like 6 months later, what they're doing. Like, Wu is kind of just getting out of the penitentiary, you know what I'm saying? But now the detective gets left with the baby and the money. And also we get player 67's mom back in the picture, and we see what happens with all the little kid that she was watching over. Player 67 from the first season. That was cool to kind of get that wrapped up. The front man meets Jinhan's daughter to give her his belongings and also the money. So yeah, and then the episode ends with the front man seeing how things are in the States is exactly how people get sucked into this game. So the game isn't completely dead, but that island is dead. And I feel like if they were to do the American version of this, it should just literally just be a continuation into saying like into that, instead of it being a remake or redo or something like that. Just have it be a continuation, and that's how you do these. But overall, I thought this was a really solid finale, bro, and just wrapped everything up. And seeing where player 456 has come from the first season to how it ends, it was really dope. And I think they could do a lot of dope things with Squid Game. I don't think that I don't think they're completely done with this. But let me know how you guys feel about this final season in the comments below. What were some of your favorite games? Till next time, I will see y'all in the next one. Peace.